look at that CB shaft blown right out. Okay guys, so I'm not exactly sure what it's going to be for your car, but you're going to have a nut to release the axle on the inside of here. There's going to be a cover. So whatever you have for rims, you're going to take the cover off in the center. You might have a hubcap, or you might have an actual rim with a cover over it like this. Either case, you're going to need to remove this first. Before you jack the car up, you want to loosen this. So you're going to take a socket. This one is a 1 1/4 inch socket, okay? And it just fits over that, and you're just going to break it loose. This is going to be really tight, so use a breaker bar. This is my breaker bar, so you guys can see what it looks like. And you might even need to put a pipe on the end of this to get more leverage. So I'm going to crack that loose. So next step, loosen the lug nuts. It's going to be a 19 millimeter. So now I'm going to jack the car up. So normally with the jack stand, you do want it here, but we don't have level ground right here. So I'm actually going to put my jack stand right here under the frame of the car. Okay, so I have the jack stand as well as the jack. So 2 points of support. Now we can zip the bolts off, remove the tire, and take the strut bolts out. So now that we're on the inside, you can see you have the 2 bolts, right? So you have the shorter one and a longer one. This longer one on the top is going to be the camber bolt. So what you want to do is have a paint marker ready, and you just want to mark a nice straight line. So I have a couple of them, so I alternate between colors, but I like to mark a straight line. Okay, just like that. So now I know if I line this up that the camber should be good after we replace the axle. So once that dries, we've got this bolt and that bolt to take out. These are both 19 millimeters. You can use a spanner wrench, or you can use 2 ratchets with 2 19 millimeter sockets. It doesn't matter, whatever way you want to do it. Don't forget to loosen this so you don't pull on it. Okay guys, so we got this one removed and this one removed. Both of these are 12 millimeters. Just pull them off and put the bolts back in them so that you don't lose them. Okay guys, so we'll remove the axle nut. Just like that. You should get a new one of these in the kit. I'm not sure if I did or not. I think I did, but if you don't, you can reuse these. Just be careful and remember to bend this part back in. Really, you're not supposed to reuse them, but I've done it in the past. So if you can replace it, please do that first. That's definitely the preferred method. Just want to show you guys what I'm going to use to take the strut tower bolts off. We've got 19 millimeter ratchet and then a 19 millimeter breaker bar. So I'm going to put one on each side and twist. I just wanted to show you guys that I did update this, and I made 2 reference points. Just makes it a little bit easier to make sure you get it in the right spot so they both line up. The next step is going to be to take a rubber mallet and just gently bang them out. I'm going to use 2 hands to get that bottom one out so that this just doesn't drop on me. Always remember to put the nuts back on the bolts. This is the camber bolt, that's what it looks like, and it has a washer on it. This one did not. Guys, look at that CB shaft blown right out. So with the next step, you should be able to grab right here and gently pull it out. If you have any trouble, you can hit this end with a hammer, since you're going to be replacing it. You can use a regular hammer or a dead blow hammer, up to you, but just pull it out. And if yours isn't broken as bad as mine, that part is going to stay connected. Mine's not. This is going to completely come out, and I'm going to have to pry that piece out. You're going to go under the car. If your car is not my car, you're going to have a CV shaft that is running from there, and it's going to run all the way there. I don't, because mine came apart because it was so badly blown out. So what you're going to do is just take a pry bar, or in my case a bent screwdriver, and you're going to stick it between there and the case of the drivetrain, okay? And you're going to pry, and this will pop out. I'm going to use two hands so I can keep a hand on here, because there's no more shaft holding this on, and I don't want it to hit me in the face. But I'm going to pry this out, and I'll show you guys it after. We got it out, and that's what it's going to look like when it comes out. You may have a little bit of transmission fluid that leaks from there. Don't worry about it. It's not that big a deal. The like star gear piece thing you see there, sometimes there's a seal behind there, and sometimes those can leak. If they are leaking, good time to replace it. I will do a future video on replacing those. Just not doing it today. They didn't have the parts at the parts store. That one isn't leaking, but the other side is a little bit. So that's why I want to replace them, and I might as well replace both. So I will do a video on that, but that is what it looks like. Just wanted to show you guys. Also, if you have a turbo car like mine, you might want to clean that off, because this is the downpipe, and that stuff is probably going to smell. I am going to clean that off. So for the new one, you want to slide it in there first, and then pull this out, and then you hopefully can wedge it in between here. You also want to put a little bit of this, little anti-seize on it, right on the splines, so it would be right here. So that way this doesn't get rotted and stuck in your bearing. So we'll put a little bit of anti-seize on our splines, just like that. And you just want to go around the whole thing. And it's okay if you get a little bit on here too, because that's where the nut is going to go that holds it in. So this is the side that's going to go into the transmission. Make sure the seat's good and that clamp squeezes into the inside. You'll hear it or feel it click. That's how you know it's in. I have the CD axle in the back so you can see it's clicked in all the way, good and sturdy. Made sure that it clicked right in. You don't have to take the strut out. I know the strut's missing, so the reason I took the strut out is so that I could get back here easier, and I also wanted to spray paint those two rough spots right there and clean them. But I'm still working on cleaning that with some brake cleaner and a rag. But like I said, you don't have to take the strut out normally. I did. You normally do not have to. If you want to though, it does free up a lot more room here to like put the shaft in, so that way it's not in the way. It definitely did make it actually easier getting it in than what it normally is. But you don't have to, like I said. If you do want to, on the top, there's going to be 3 bolts. They'll probably be 14s. Mine are 13s because my Outback is lifted, so there's a spacer that's at the top. Definitely cleaned up the downpipe much better, and the paint's dry now. So what we're going to do is stick this in. So all you do is pull this back, lean it in. It should fall back into place. You may have to yank this out a bit to get the head of this in there, but once it's in there, it'll slide right in. Push this back up. So we're gonna do that now. I am gonna put the strut back in before I do that. That way we can do it seamlessly and be done. I usually will feed the bottom bolt in because it makes it easier to push in after this is started. So that way everything lines up. So Now that that's in, what I like to do is, we're gonna reuse the old one. What I like to do is just start twisting this on a little bit, just to kind of hold it in place. Then I will get both of these bolts in and then tighten these down, tighten those. Everything is lined back up how it's supposed to. Now I just have to tighten those nuts and connect the ABS line and the brake line back up. Then we're ready to put the tire on and the lugs and then the center nut. Okay, so we've got everything lined back up, all tightened up. So tire back on. And just like that, the tire's back on. So we're gonna tighten the center CV axle nut. And now I'm gonna stick this on my breaker bar, tighten it a little bit more. So now that the tire is back on, we are going to lift up the car, take the jack stand out, then lower the car, tighten it all up. Okay guys, so now that we tightened it up, we'll take our flathead screwdriver and a hammer and we'll bend this down. So I'm going to do that now. So that's what it looks like on the inside. I'm going to torque the lug nuts down and then go for a test drive and see how it drives. I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope this was helpful. Peace.